Hey everybody, let's get you some more practice working on creating queries. I'm going to assume that you've already gone through here and done these first 10 with the Goldstar Access database and validated those. So I'm going to move quicker through these ones, get straight to the answers and spend less time explaining. So number 1, show the first and last name only of employees who received a good performance rating and earn more than 50,000. Alright, I already started this one a second ago. Oh, you know what I want to do is give you some more room to see. So, display settings. Let's crank that up. There we go. Alright. Hopefully you're on a good internet connection. You can see that a bit better. So here we go. I've got first name, last name. I put performance and salary in here just so I can validate my results and make sure that I got those who are just good and those whose salary is more than 50,000. So they didn't say equal to 50,000, they said more than. So I'm going to assume that's what they truly mean, and I just put greater than and not greater than equal to. Okay. Delete that out of here. Let's try it out. Run. Beautiful. Performance is good. Salary, all of these are greater than 50,000, so I'm going to assume that is correct. And then take these back off because it said just show first name and last name. Check it one more time. All is well. Awesome. Save, close. Okay. Next. No, scroll down. Here we go. From the employee table, don't know why they had to be so specific. We could have figured that out. Select SSN, first last name, performance rating of all employees who work at location 1. Okay, create, design, SQL view, paste. Alright. Select SSN, first name, last name, performance from employee where location ID equals 1. Now it doesn't tell us, we don't know what location ID is. I guess we could look it up here and see that it's Atlanta. We don't seem to care. We just do what we're told here on the query. Let's run it. Okay, I think that's good, but to double check ourselves, let's go ahead and just stick location ID in there to make sure that we're only getting those where it equals 1. Perfect. Okay, whoops, go to SQL view. I'll take that back out. Double check, make sure it all still works. We're good. Save and close. Alright. Select records for employees who have either Emily or Frank as their first name. Show their first last name as well as their salary. Not a problem. So I'm looking for every piece of criteria they want to return, putting them in the order they asked for them. All of these fields come from the employee table, where first name equals Emily. What we're testing here, or what whoever wrote this one is testing, is to see if you understand the use of the OR operator. Oops. So OR expands our results, whereas AND restricts our results. So see, an OR, they can equal either Emily or Frank. That's going to give us more people than saying Emily and Frank. If we said Emily and Frank, it would return nothing because you can't have two first name values that are equal to, you can't have a first name value that is equal to two different things. Alright, so let's go ahead and delete this, run it, test it out. There we go, Emily or Frank. Let's save it and close it. Wait, let's see. I didn't miss a order by, did I? Nope. Okay. Close it up. Oh, come on, close. Alright, next one. Query design. Okay. Select employees with the first name of Holly and received a good performance rating. But in the same query, select all employees who received an average performance rating. Let's make sure you're reading this right. So we have an and an or in here. So first criteria is that they have to meet both of these. They have to have the first name of Holly, and they have to have a good performance rating. That means we probably have 2 Hollys in our database, and only one of them has a good. But then, in the same list, we want anyone, regardless of their first name, who's received an average performance rating. Alright, we can do that. Select SSN. where, okay, here we go. Here's our criteria where first name equals Holly. Now, remember that white space is ignored. So where you put these ands and ors is just wherever you want to make it easy for you to understand. Personally, I like to keep this together on the same line. And performance equals Holly. Good. Okay, so it needs to meet both of these. Or performance equals average. Who knows why they want this, but this is going to return what they want. So we use and. We can use parentheses in a SQL statement a lot like we'd use them in a mathematical equation. So parentheses are one way of saying, okay, force these things to happen together, but let's see if that's necessary. First of all, let's find out what gets returned here. I skipped a comma. There we go. And let's go ahead and just to make sure that we're doing this, let's put in performance right here so we can see if we've done it right. Oh, got to spell performance right. Still got to spell performance right. Oh, so sorry. All right. So we've got everyone who's average and then Holly Jones who's good. But look, we also got Holly Holmes. Why is that? Is that correct? Well, yeah, we said anyone who's named Holly and has good, or anyone who has an average performance rating. So technically this is all correct. Now, whoops, back to here. We can use parentheses to force certain things from happening together. But in this case, we don't need to do that. Ands and ors are kind of like, actually, no, let me save this. I'll use this example in the next one. Let's save this one and move on. Query 4. I'm going to show you how to use parentheses on this next one. All right, create a query that shows, oh, sorry, I'm going to show you the parentheses on number 6. Let's do 5 though real quick. Create a query, got it. SQL that shows only the first name, last name, first name, location, city, position, title, who earn less than 50. This is just a chance for us to practice linking together a bunch of tables. Practice doesn't hurt. Let's do this. Select first name, location, city, position, title, from employee, location, position, making sure we spell from correctly, where, let's link together the tables now, employee.location ID, foreign key equals location.id, primary key. Do the other link, employee.position ID, foreign key equals position.id, primary key. Okay. Employees who earn less than 50,000. Well, that's going to be from the salary field that's in the employee table. So salary less than, doesn't say less than or equal to, just says less than 50,000. All right. Run. There we go. Now to validate this, it's always smart to go ahead and include salary so we can trust our results. Yep, these are all below 50. But then before we save it, we go ahead and remove that since we weren't supposed to use it. And we can close and save. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and make query 6, and we'll practice using parentheses. All right, select all employees who received either an average or poor performance rating and work in Chicago. Okay, so no matter what, they have to work in Chicago, because this and applies to both of them. It's either average or poor, and they have to work in Chicago. All right. Select. We want to show first name, last name, performance from. Oh, and location from the location table. Do you think they mean location ID or location city? This is a question I always get from students. Probably they mean, well, let's give them something that helps them identify where the actual location is. So we'll put in location city, location. Looks like we don't need anything from the position table, so we don't have to include that. So where, let's tie together, whoops, tie together employee.location ID equals location. Come on. What in the world? Equals. What? I have no clue what's going on here. This is what I get for using a Mac. Location ID equals location.id. Why can I not type an equal sign anymore? Okay, now it works. All the crazy weird things. Anyway, alright, working now. Okay, we tied those together. Now, they have to receive either average or poor performance ratings. So let's say and performance equals average, or I can't say poor here. It's going to give me an error. I have to repeat performance equals average or performance equals poor. Okay? And then and they have to live in Chicago or work in Chicago. Location city equals Chicago. Alright, how is this going to work? Well, let's leave it just like this and find out exactly what's going to happen here. So run. Okay, we've got average, people who work in various cities, poor, works in Chicago. So it looks like what it's done is it said give us anyone who's average and then only poor who have worked in Chicago. Is that what we wanted? Let's go back and take a look. Okay, the text said select all employees who received either average or poor and worked in Chicago. So in other words, they have to work in Chicago, but we'll take them whether they have average or poor. So that didn't work out quite right. What do we need to do? Well, as it turns out, think of a mathematical formula. Let's say we've got 2 times, 5 plus 2. Okay, so according to order of operations, the answer to this would be what? Well, multiplication is done first, so 10 plus 2, it would be 12. But let's say what we really meant was 2 times, and we wanted 5 plus 2 done first. Well, in that case, it would be 14, because we forced the plus to happen first. Something similar is going on here with ands and ors. Ands are stuck together first, and then ors, meaning what they did was they said give us anyone who first of all tie together the tables, and then give us anyone who's average, or don't worry about tying together the tables with a primary key, foreign key, and give us anybody who's poor and works in Chicago. Is that what happened? Well, let's go back and look. Sure enough, we got average and each city through here, and then we got only those who are poor and work in Chicago. So here's what we need to do. We need to stick in some parentheses, just like you do with a mathematical formula, to force things to work the way you want them to. In particular, we want to force the tables to stay joined. We want to force the location city to be Chicago, but we'll allow them to be their performance to be either average or poor, but it has to be one of those. So by putting parentheses, it says, okay, do this first, make sure this condition is evaluated as true, and then all 3 of these lines have to return a true in order for it to return a result. I have to be able to tie their records together. I have to be either average or poor, and they have to be living or working in Chicago. So by putting those parentheses in there and run, now we get only those who are in Chicago and who are average or poor, and it all works just fine. Okay. Let's save and close this. Yep. All right, moving right along. Number 7, show all of the employees. Whoops. Yeah. No, create, sorry. I'm trying to do too many things at once. SQL view. Okay, show all of the employees who are managers. So there's two types of managers, don't forget, here in position. Regional manager and regular manager, so we got to account for both of those. Show all employees who are managers and have received a performance rating, meaning their field is not empty. Let's take a look. Sure enough, we've got some people with an empty performance rating. These are probably people who've worked here for less than a year and haven't been evaluated yet. All right, show the last name, salary, performance rating, location, position, title. Let's do this. Select last name, performance, location, city, position, title. Looks like we're going to need all three fields. Let's tie these together. Employee dot okay, now we've tied together the primary keys, foreign keys. Now let's make sure that they're managers. Whoops. How do we do that? Do we use equals? Nope. We use the keyword like, because I'm going to use the asterisk and say give me any position title that ends in manager, but we don't care what it starts with. So that counts for regional managers or just regular managers. Okay. That works, but we need one more criteria. We only want people who've received a performance rating. If we do this, look, I get Marlon here, who doesn't have a performance rating. So we can handle this in a couple different ways. One way is to say and performance is not equal to, and then do open close double quotes and say that means null. So in other words, we're saying and performance, the less than greater than, is this means not equal to. And then open and close double quotes with nothing inside means it's not equal to empty or blank. This works in Access because it doesn't differentiate between blank versus null. Null is a special word that we use to mean there's never been data stored in this cell ever. Now, if I put data in, then delete it out, it'll be empty. And it will look like, whoops. Come on, let me delete. And it'll look, no, it won't let me delete. Never mind. Oh yeah, because I'm in a query. So it would look like that empty field. What I'd prefer you use, and although this would work and get you full credit on an exam in this class, what I prefer you to use is not null. These are all keywords that can be used in SQL, and these are more standard across different versions of SQL. Is not null, meaning that field is not equal to null, meaning it's got something in the cell. So run that. In the case of Access, it works exactly the same. Either way, it's just fine. We got position, title managers, and regional managers. Everything's working out just like it should. So is not null. Or you could say is null, or you could say equal to null, and all those would work as well if you were looking for those who are empty. All right, save that, query 7. Let's make a new one. Query design. SQL view. All right. Show the last name, salary, position, title, and location, city of all managers who earn more than $50,000 and work in Chicago or Miami. All right, you know everything you need to do to be able to do this one. See if you can pause the video and do this one on your own. I'm going to do it as fast as I can here and try and shut up while I do it. All right. Okay, we've got last name, salary, position, title, location, city from these three tables. Tie primary keys and foreign keys together. Give me anyone who's a manager. Give me only those who make more than 50,000, and make sure that they come from one of these two location cities. Oops, equal sign. Let's delete it. See if that's working according to plan. Run. Chicago, Miami, they're making more than 50,000 and they're all managers. Beautiful. Okay, SQL view, save and close. Yep. Query 8. All right. Next one. Create a query that selects trainees who earn less than 19,000 or more than 22,000. Show first name and last name, city, location, salary, position, title. Pretty straightforward. You should be able to do this one too. See if you can do it. Okay, oh, I forgot one thing. Selects trainees. Can't forget that one. Doesn't matter if these are all ands, doesn't matter what order I put them in. So I'm just going to say right down here. Okay, give me all trainees who make between 19 and 22. I think that'll do it. Only one. All right. Cool. Well, let's double check. Trainee is position ID 3. Let's pull up employee, sort by position ID. So I'm looking at only the 3s. And these two both make outside the range, so that's correct. All right. No, don't save that, but yes, save this. Okay, next up. 10, calculate. Now we're getting into calculated fields. All right. Calculate the difference between the current salary and the maximum salary of each regional manager. Name the calculated field salary difference. Show last name, salary, maximum salary, and salary difference. Okay. Create query design. SQL maximize. Okay. Select last name, salary, the maximum salary, which comes from position right here, maximum salary for that position title. And then this new calculated field called salary difference, which is the difference between the current salary and the maximum salary. So here's how we do this. I'm going to call this salary difference and then put a colon. Actually, no, I'm not going to do that. I apologize. That's how I do it in the query design view. It took me a second. We're simply going to refer to the fields. Maximum salary minus salary. And we're going to give it a name as salary difference. Just like we did in the previous video when we're naming newly calculated fields or function fields. From, looks like we need employee and position. I think that's it. Let's tie them together. Let's, we only want regional managers, so anything else? I think that's it. Let's try it out. There we go. Regional managers, salary difference, difference between max and salary. Beautiful. So just so you know, now that I've created this salary difference field, I can actually use it here in my same query. Let's say that I want to double the salary difference field and see how much room if we decide to change, or maybe we add 10% or 20% to it. So I'm going to say salary difference times 1.2. That will add 20% to it, because 1, it'll give it itself, and then it'll return the same number back, and then 1.2, it'll add 20% on. We'll call this as increased difference. And then, just so you know, I can also order by a calculated field as well. So let's go ahead and order by increased difference, whatever that is. Run. It says, hey, what is that? Oh, guess I can't use it yet. Nope. What I have to do instead is redo the calculation right here. So let's just order by salary difference. Maximum salary minus salary. There we go. That one works. So we've got our calculated field. We've got our second calculated field, which used the first calculated field, and then we ordered by making a new calculated, by recalculating the field. So that's a good thing to point out. I'd forgotten that when I started this. When we order by, although I can use salary difference created here in the next field here, I can't use these field names down here. I have to recalculate in the order by statement. That's why I couldn't use increased difference. Anyway, there's our results. Let's go ahead and save that, close it up. And last one. Create a summary query to display the average and minimum salary of all job positions. Display that stuff. Okay, no problem. All right, a summary query. Display, select position title. We want the average salary and the minimum salary. So what we want is a salary field twice, and we're going to do an average and a minimum on those. So I'll come back to that. From, looks like we need employee for salary and position for position title. So let's tie those two tables together. Dot position ID equals position.id. It doesn't, this says for all job positions. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to use the average function on the first one. It didn't say what to call it, so I'm just going to call this, give it my own name, as average salary. I don't use spaces because if I did use a space, it would get confused and think that I'm calling it the word average, and then that salary is some new key term. It doesn't realize that I just want a space there. If I did want a space, I'd have to put these square brackets around the entire name that includes a space, and then it would work. But let's just keep things simple and not put any spaces in our names. And then this one, we want the minimum salary. So I'll use the min function as minimum salary. Now, if you remember from the previous video, the rule, I have to use group by whenever I use one of these functions like average, min, count, max, sum. And this is different from when I used a formula, when I did a calculated field. I didn't have to do this before. But when I use a function, I have to use group by, and as a rule to follow, any field that I select that's not got a function around it has to be grouped by. And what this means is it says, okay, if we want an average, I can't take every single salary and give you the average of itself because it's just itself. What you want to do is collapse all the same position titles, everyone of the same title, collapse them together, and then give me an average salary for all those positions, for all of each value of position title. So that's why we have to put anything here in this group by statement that's in the select statement that doesn't have a function on it. So run. Oh, gotta remember to delete this. Here we go. Each position title with the average salary and the minimum salary it finds among all of the employees. Hope this was helpful. Keep practicing away. That's the best way to get ready for this exam.